All right, all right, all right. What type of silver should we be buying in 2006? I'm not here to tell you what type of silver you should be buying. That is up to you. I'm here to lay out the options and to give my opinion that we have entered uncharted territories, the Wild Wild West. Law just don't go around here, law dog. And so, as we enter these uncharted territories, the quote from Bruce Lee comes to my mind. The quote on be like water, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, it can even crash. Be like water, my friend. Just as water takes the shape of any container it is poured into, one should be able to adapt to their environment and circumstances. When I sit down at the poker table, I read the room. Are these men having a few drinks, blowing off some steam, having some fun? They're the guys I'm not going to bluff. I'll play tight against. Am I sitting down in a room full of sharks and grinders? Well, those guys I can bluff, and I'll have a different strategy. Your environment will play an important part of the stacker that you become. So as buying opportunities go, we all have different advantages and disadvantages, and it's often determined by our environment. I feel for our brothers over in England. They have a high rate to deal with, or taxes. I wonder, is it even worth playing the game? It seems like they've been dealt a pair of deuces. Someone may be living in Alaska and their only option is to buy online. There isn't a coin store around. They'll have different advantages and disadvantages. A whole different strategy than someone like me. Now, the guy in Alaska, you could say he's been dealt an okay hand. He doesn't have to deal with the taxes, but he has to deal with shipping, security, things of that nature. He could be holding a pair of 10s or jacks. Someone like me, I'm in a big city. I have plenty of coin shops around. There's Jewelers Row. I have, a lot of options. So I feel like I've been dealt a pair of kings. So we all must take what we've been dealt and play it to the best of our abilities. The reason I say that we're in the Wild Wild West and uncharted territories is, as of closing Friday, we are currently at 56.33. And if I was to walk into my local coin store, who has an eBay store as well, this is the eBay store, but if I was to walk in Monday morning, I could buy slab coins at $60. Factor in that he has to give eBay, this is a beautiful coin I've been having my eye on, the unification of Germany. It's made out of silver. But also, if I had the money, I had my eye on this. This is a burnished eagle. Comes with the case, everything. I could get that for 60, or I could get like slabbed eagles for 60, guaranteed, no problem. But I could probably get them even cheaper because he has to pay eBay. He's already made his money on this. It saves him the time and hassle of shipping it. So I could possibly be getting these for spot. And that's why I said this is the time of the Wild Wild West. We got to be a little fluid and just roll with the times. And I consider myself a value stacker. I try to get the most value. There are many different tiers of silver. You have the precious. Don't even look at the precious. You have your government issued bullion. Here in America, the eagle's like the ace of spades. And then you have your rounds. Constitutional silver. Funny, when I go in the coin store and I'm buying this, it's constitutional. When I go in and sell it, it's junk. And we also have to throw in the mix fractional 3/9 fine nowadays. We also have gold as an option. I'm going to use this silver bar to represent platinum. And value is a tricky thing sometimes. Take this beautiful Mexican Libertad. It is toned. The coveted Mexican Libertad. And then here, this would be classified as a simple generic round. But I'll pose the question today, which one has more value? Or if you could pay the same price, which one would you choose? So if I lived in Oregon and I was going to Harry's coin shop, these most likely would be the choices I would be presented with. And the eagle gets a little bit more of a premium. The government issue is a little less. And then you have the rounds. And if I was buying in Oregon at Harry's, he'd have a 3-tier system, and most likely I would be stacking something like this, living close to Canada up there. This would kind of make sense. But for me, living Philadelphia, my coin store, there's a different system. He has rounds are usually $2 above spot, and then government is $3 above spot, and government includes all these coins as well. So I'm usually in a position I'm paying $1 more for an eagle than I am for a round. And I believe the eagle, being in America, liquidity is an important thing. If you ever bought and sold NFTs, you could learn that lesson. But liquidity is important. I could walk into a bar and probably have no problem selling this. If I go in any coin store, anything else, and the day you sell is something most new stackers don't think about, if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to stack, but I watch pawn shop videos, and one of the best videos I've seen where a guy walked in, had to sell his silver, got a good price, and it was a positive transaction. Was he had about 4 10-ounce bars and 60 coal eagles. Now, if you live in Florida, you could pay taxes, I believe, with your silver eagles or any government issued. So if you're in Florida, you might not be able to pay taxes with a generic round, but with a government issued coin, you can pay your taxes. So I think the eagle's the big dog in America, but sometimes, like I said, if you're at Harry's coin shop, you might have to pay a premium, and something like the maple leaf or these other government bullion coins would make a lot more sense. Nowadays, I'm finding that you can even throw fractional silver into this mix. At where I'm shopping, there's no premium on this. The only thing I'm actually paying a premium on are these little grams. They were like, I've been getting them for like $1.50, $2. nowadays it's $2. So, but other than that, your half ounces, I got 2 of these at spot price. Being on the internet, when silver jumped up to $44, he had these listed as 22 a piece. I walked in the store, so I was able to get something premium silver, half ounce. And I'm starting to rethink fractional silver. The Fish from If You Know, You Know just recently did a video on fractional silver. Had some good input, good conversation. And so if you can get this without the premium, it's an option. I was getting these little 1/10ers, and I got 10 of them, $5 each, $50 spot price, and I buy 2 or 3 here and there. Anytime I make a purchase, I cash out, I either get a Merc dime or something along these lines. In the end, the same time-proven laws, still apply, that silver is silver, and you want to buy as close to spot as possible. Now, also, one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my stacking journey after 100 ounces would be saying I avoided gold. I did not pay attention to gold, and gold has more than doubled. I could have got this for $80 back when I first started stacking, and now they go for, like $140. I'm not saying to buy, I would advise every new stacker just to get a little bit of gold. That way you start to learn about it. I didn't watch certain videos because they had gold in it. I just watched silver videos, so it opens up more entertainment opportunities on YouTube. But it helps just to get a little bit and just to start to learn about it. Follow the markets, just get, used to it. I'm not saying buy gold. Like, be careful with gold or silver, because they're both at all-time highs. I see a lot of veteran seasoned stackers moving towards, I'm going to represent this as platinum. They're starting to go into platinum. So, 2 years from now, you're making a video saying, I wish I would have paid attention to platinum, and it more than doubled, and my mistake was not buying platinum. So, just things to be aware of. It's a fluid market out there. There's lots of choices and opportunities. So with the premiums, the Eagles might not be a choice. And so when I talk about like tiers and hierarchies, we also have other government issued bullion. And all of this is perfectly fine. It's in the United States, you would have no problem selling this. There's a smaller market. There's a smaller market for like kangaroos or the Philharmonic. So it takes dealers a little longer to sell. But something that's highly liquid, highly recognized here in the States is the Canadian Maple Leaf. And if I was at Harry's coin shop, this would be something I would be choosing over the Eagles. It's 4.9's fine. It has great security features. It has the milk proof technology now. Something like this, they have problems with milk spots. But other than that, they have great security features. The milk spot could be considered an extra security feature. But these are good options as well. Highly recognized. They're liquid, but you might get spot or a little less just because it takes the dealer a little longer to sell. So there's different hierarchies, different tiers within silver. If you're buying, say you're buying some junk silver, Now, I think it's a great opportunity now for people to buy junk silver. But if you're a new stacker, you know, you might not want to jump into that yet. Maybe down the road. But if I was buying silver, like I said, if you are a new stacker though, take your change. You get like $6 in change. Maybe you could pick up like 2 Merc dimes, and like Merc dimes I've seen get a premium at some places. So in the future, I think these will eventually garner a premium. They might you know, have more value than a Roosevelt dime. Or some people will say we'll be weighing silver and it's better to have more weight. But if you get Mercs in good condition, I wouldn't worry about the weight. I would be picking like Walkers over the more current stuff. Let's see, rounds. You know, we always have the beloved Buffalo round. Some rounds have mint marks. Some rounds don't. A lot of people produce these. I try and get the ones with the mint marks. You have the old vintage rounds, and a good strategy is like if you're just buying rounds and you're trying to stay as close as possible, you're not going to find this, but you can find vintage rounds. Something like this would get a little bit of a premium on eBay. So you're buying cheapest silver possible, and you know, you can get a vintage round, and that could be something that adds value to your coin besides just a regular Buffalo. Also, if you're buying rounds, you can find eagles, painted eagles, in the same price as a round, in the same bin. Collect eagles. Like I said, many advantages to an eagle. You don't like the paint, you could just dip them, clean them, and then you have something above a call eagle, you know. So, you know, there's a lot of value in picking up painted eagles at a good price. So there's many different options to choose from. So what we're witnessing currently is that spot price is jumping so high. We just had a $3 jump. It's crashing into the floor of the more collectible stuff. So Monday morning, this is the choice I face. Do I go in, buy a round, spend $1 more, buy an eagle, or try and get a slabbed eagle for spot? It's crazy times that we're living in with silver, and I'm just being thankful for the opportunities that are presented nowadays and trying to take advantage of them. So in 2026, the game has changed. If you are buying online and you know you're living in a farm in Idaho, or you're up in Alaska preparing for the zombie apocalypse, a good strategy or an option would be, and I'll leave the commenters comment up in the thing, but he was saying that a good strategy is to do what he calls the round robin, where online dealers offer first time buyers spot price on their first silver purchase, and if you buy enough, you get the free shipping. That is a very good, excellent deal. And if you do the round robin and jump from bullion dealer to bullion dealer, you could take advantage of the beginner deals, and by the time you run out, you're going to have a nice pile of silver. So depending what hand you're dealt, there's a lot of different options, and don't just ignore the fractional anymore. You know, I got these at spot, so beware and on the lookout out there. Well, this is the Philly Stacker. I hope you got something out of this, enjoyed it. Happy holidays, everyone. Goodbye.